Hey fifth graders, this is Mrs. Eisenstein and today we are doing a little bit of science from my house. So today we are taking a look at how landforms are changed by the force of water. Some of the materials that we are using today, I have a stream table here and one of the ends, there's a little hole at the bottom of it and I've covered that up with a piece of duct tape so that nothing falls through that hole. I have a sediment mixture that is made up of sand and clay powder. I've got a ruler. I have my wooden angle that's going to act as a bulldozer. I have a basin that's my collection basin. I have my source cups. I've got a flood source cup and a standard source cup. And then I have a pitcher of water. So the first step that we're actually going to take a look at is getting all of this set up. So we're looking at how landforms are changed by the force of water. So we're going to begin with our landform. The first landform that we want is a plateau. So what I have done is I've actually measured 20 centimeters from the end here, and we're going to use the bulldozer to make a plateau that is 20 centimeters long. And remember, a plateau is flat on the top. Let's see, we're going to bulldoze this up. So here is our landform. So we have our plateau, nice and flat, okay? In order for us to test this, we're going to we want to see how water changes this. So we're going to be using our standard cup, our standard water source, and we're going to add some water to this to see what happens to our plateau. Because we're adding water, I want to take this off the edge of my table because I don't want water all over my table. And we're going to place the basin right here. See, I'm looking kind of at the end of the dot, going down to the floor. And we want to be able to see what happens. I'm going to place the ruler so that I can balance my cup. And I can see there's a little tiny hole in there. Look very carefully. Okay. So now what we need to do, if you've not done this already, I need for you to pause the video and I want you to create a before picture of our landform structure. Okay. So pause the video, get your before picture taken, and we will be ready to move on. So now we are back. I have filled my pitcher with about 1 liter of water. See if I can get that in there okay. But we are going to fill up the cup. I want to make sure that my cup is balanced on here so that when I add water to it, it doesn't fall into the sediment in the stream table. Okay. And so we're going to start filling up this cup. I'm going to fill it up all the way . And now we're going to watch, okay? So paying attention to what you see happening. So I noticed some change in color in our sediment. Why do you think that is? I also notice that it looks kind of like I've got almost like a little pool. So we're about halfway through our water. And so think, what other times do you see this happen to the soil? So notice that wet area of sand, of sediment, is spreading, okay? And we're going to add some more water in because we want to use our full liter of water. When I look at this, I see kind of the sediment looks a lot like how my front yard does after it rains a whole bunch. So that water is still coming out. I also see some of the water beginning to move a little bit. And if we look here at the front, okay, the water is beginning to fill up. It's coming out. So we have a bit of a channel going here along the side. And then when I'm looking at this water, you know, the water that I put into my cup, was it this color? So my water in the cup, let's pan back over here. That water looks pretty clear, but this water down here is not. So what processes do we see going on here? You should see some evidence of some weathering, erosion, deposition. If I come here, notice my water is getting closer to that hole. We're going to find out if I did a good job placing it down on the floor. So we have the water falling down into the basin. That's a good thing. So what do we see happening? At the beginning, there was a tiny bit of sediment at the base of our plateau, but that has definitely grown. And so if you are getting to do this in the classroom along with me, is yours looking a bit like mine? And if you are viewing this from home, have you seen this or something similar to it happen to the landforms around you? Maybe out in your front yard. Maybe down the street. So the water in the cup is almost empty. And as soon as the last bit of water is drained out of the cup, we'll take a look at our final view of the landform and see what we have noticed here. So one of the things that I notice, seeing this side right here up against the sidewall where it the water kind of flowed through, it looks kind of like a channel. This actually created a canyon. And so our water carved through like a river. And because it's not wide, taking up the whole space. So we've actually created a canyon. Do we know of another canyon, or maybe two, that were helped to be carved out by rivers? And then down here at the basin, sorry, not the basin, but at the base, the end of our river, where it came out into the flat area, we have all of this sediment right here, and this actually formed a delta. Okay, so it looks like, and so now we're going to get a close-up, an aerial view of what happened. Kind of come from the side here. So it's not at the same level that it was before. We have kind of a little crater here. And then we can see where it flowed out. All right, so create your after photo. Be sure to notate areas where you saw weathering, erosion, and deposition, and some of the new landforms that we saw, the canyon and the delta. Add this to your notebook as your after picture, and then wait for your next instructions from your teacher. Until next time, 5th grade.